Could integrity be one of the keys to unlocking what makes a truly great leader? Could it be integrity? Of course, there's loads of traits, but could integrity be one of the most important keys? So, if you've listened to anything I've said previously on leadership, any of the previous episodes, there's three traits that have stuck out to me the most, the ones that keep reoccurring. There are more, but these three keep sticking out the most. There is composure, there is a naturally protective instinct, and there's integrity. Integrity keeps coming up more and more and more. And I saw a video today, and in that video, it was a video by Jimmy Carr, British comedian, and I got a lot of time for Jimmy. When he's being serious, he's a very, very clever man. And what he said was, you are who you are when no one is watching. That's the difference between character and reputation. And that really got me thinking, because I know people think like this, but I don't think about it enough because it's so surreal to me. It's so difficult to comprehend that people are not who they are all the time. I find it crazy to think that people behave differently when no one's watching. I find that very difficult to comprehend. I can see that people are like it because I can see that they aren't genuine. And obviously that's what that is. If someone is not genuine, they're not being their true self. And I can see that most people aren't genuine. Most people aren't fully authentic. But it baffles me to understand how someone can be like that. I don't understand how you can how as a person you can have that, how you can sleep at night, if you want to call it that. It baffles me. It really, really baffles me. There's there's a few things I've written down. I've been looking up on integrity, and there's a few things I've written down, and some of the bits that jumped out to me, I've been just researching it all day. It's been on my mind. So some of the bits that jumped out to me with being having integrity, and these bits that kept coming up. So first of all, you have being authentic and genuine. Being authentic and genuine, I thought, was what everyone did. I thought that's just what you are, who you are. But a lot of people will say to me, "Are you really genuine, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I didn't quite understand what they meant. And it's only really, I'm really understanding that so many people are not on the outside who they are in their head. Now, it might not be that they are trying to deceive people. It might just be a confidence thing. They don't feel have the confidence to say what they're thinking. Whereas I didn't realize that was a thing. I just thought if something needed to be said, you say it. I've never understood that people aren't, they don't say something when it needs to be said. I can't comprehend not saying it. I can't put myself in the position of someone who is afraid to talk or to give their opinion on something or to disagree. I find that baffling. So the first one was of these traits of someone who has integrity would be being authentic and genuine. Second one is a lack of ego, which I think ties in with the first example, and it's kind of having, where someone says someone's insecure, it's the opposite. It's being very secure with yourself. And I think again that comes down with That comes down to you're so comfortable with who you are that you don't worry about what other people think of you, and you don't worry about whether people are going to perceive what you're doing as good or bad, or you don't care. You do what you do because you think it's right. And going back to what Jimmy Carr said, you are who you are when no one is watching. I remember I had a conversation with some Christians years ago, and they're very strong on doing stuff that Christianity made people better people. And I said, no, I disagree. I said, I feel that Christianity generally will give people this. They don't have a choice but to be good. So what I said to them was, here's the difference between me and them. There were two men that I was talking to. I said, here's the difference. You see a lady, an old lady's fallen over in the street. She's maybe a little bit concussed. She's in a fragile state. She's, for example, dropped some money. And I said to them, would you go and help the woman? And they're like, of course. And I said, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that you would. You wouldn't take her money. You'd look after her. I don't doubt that. I said, but why'd you do that? And they go, because it's the right thing to do. I said, it is. But why are you doing it? And if you think deep down, the reason I said to them, the reason they are doing it, because of their beliefs, it's because they know that God sees all. And then when they do eventually die, and then they go up to the gates of heaven and all this sort of stuff, if they didn't do the right thing, they believe they're going to get judged for it. Or they believe they're being watched at all times. There are armies of angels watching them and reporting on their every act. You know, they didn't do this today. They walked past someone who had no food today, and they feel that they're being judged at all times, and they're going to be judged for it when they go up. I don't believe any of that shit. I don't believe any of that shit. I do it because it's right. And if I don't do it, I won't be able to sleep that night. I don't need to tell anyone about it. I don't need any recognition for it. I will do it because it's the right thing to do. Do I believe someone's watching me? Do I fuck? I don't care. Do I believe that when I die I'm going to go up to the gate? No, I don't. I don't believe any of that shit. I've got no idea what's going to happen. I don't pretend to be intelligent enough to understand what's going to happen. But I don't care. Do I think that if there was something that powerful that they'd be watching me? No, I'm like an ant to that person. No one gives a fuck what I'm doing. Apart from me. I care what I'm doing. I don't need to do it to tell other people I've done it. I want to do it because it's the right thing to do, and I also want my children to see the person that I am, so they can then follow and copy and be good people themselves. So I believe that having that belief that I don't care what other people think of me. I will do something that is morally right, and everyone's like, "Oh, come on, we're going to be late for." If something's morally wrong, and I think to myself, "I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight if I don't do that," I will do it. I have to do what is right for me, regardless of what everyone else is thinking. There's no peer pressure involved. It is about me, my moral compass. So I'm very secure in my own judgment of myself. I don't care what other people are thinking about me. So I think that comes with that security, and then that comes with that lack of ego. Like, I don't need to prove I'm better than someone to help them. I don't need to kind of say, well, I've got more money than them, therefore I'm going to help them and buy them food. It's got nothing to do with that. Is it the right thing to do? So I think lack of ego helps a lot in that integrity. The next one that jumps out to me out of all of these traits is can show weakness and imperfection. And I know a lot of people would say, well, you wouldn't want that from a leader. You wouldn't want a leader to show that they're weak and imperfect. I think people do. I think people do respect that and they do follow that. If you show that you've made a mistake, you hold your hand up and say, yeah, I got that wrong. I got that wrong. I think people respect that. People respect you um, owning up to mistakes, and I think showing emotion as well at the right time. I think there are certain times when everyone else is being emotional, you have to be strong. I think at certain times you can show emotion and you can show that you care. You can show imperfection and that you are human. But again, I think there is a time and a place for it. If you are in a leadership position, you need to show strength when everyone else is being weak. When everyone else is okay, then you can show weakness. Next trait. The next trait is taking ownership. I think this is a huge one. Again, in integrity, I think holding your hands up when you've made a mistake, taking ownership for things, being able to also take ownership for other people's mistakes. This is going to sound crazy. This is going to sound a little bit strange to some people, but I feel that if I'm in a team of people and we all have been given a task to complete, and I finish my task, I feel it is my responsibility to help the others finish their task. And a lot of people would say to me, why? Even if we're not a team. And I feel it's because I have finished mine. I now have a duty to help someone that clearly doesn't have the same ability as I do in that given task. So I take it on myself to look after other people that do not have the same capability. Now, everyone might finish before me. That's cool. I don't expect them to help me. I don't need them to help me. If they want to, cool. But for me, if I know how to do something, I feel it's my responsibility to then look after them. I I said to people, I said to someone years ago, if you look at the word disabled, and a lot of people say that it's someone who is majorly disabled, take away take away all the physical disabilities and the mental disabilities, and you look at it logically and literally, you would say it's someone who is less able than you. Now, they might not be less able than you at everything. So, take for instance someone who was in a wheelchair and I'm able to use my legs. You would say, oh, they're disabled. But then what if they were way more intellectual than me and I couldn't really look after myself, but I wasn't disabled. I wasn't labelled as disabled. Some might say that they're more able than me. So there's able-bodied, there's able-minded. But there's also, I think, very niche things that you're able. If I can't cook for myself, but someone else can cook, I feel or the other way around. If I can cook for myself and someone else can't, I feel it's my responsibility to try and not only cook for them, but show them how they can cook for themselves and look after themselves. And I feel it's my responsibility because I have that ability to do that. Some people might say, why is it my problem? I don't know. It's part of that whole protective thing, but taking ownership, I feel, is a big thing. The next one is honest opinions. So this honest opinions, I think, goes with integrity, goes hand in hand with having that security and being authentic and being genuine. I know I've had a few people who've said it to me before that when they've cooked for me and I've gone, yeah, it was all right. I liked this bit, but I wasn't too keen on this and this. I appreciate you cooking the meal. It was really, really grateful. Thank you. But yeah, it was all right. It was all right. And I'll be like that. And some people might be a bit offended, but it is what it is. I'm telling you the truth. Someone else might, again, that same person might cook for me again, and I'll just say, it wasn't as good as the last one you did. I preferred that, to be honest. I'm not, but then I might not be a fan of that thing that you cooked anyway. So that's no reflection on your cooking. That's just my taste. I don't like that. In the end, though, there will be a meal, that I'll kind of go, that's the best thing you've ever done. I love that. I love that. And I'll tell you why. I loved the crispiness of the potatoes and this, and I'll be specific. And you know what? People prefer that. People prefer that. I remember I had to write some reports for people previously in a previous job role. Excuse me, in a previous job role, and I remember this was split between me and a few other managers, and the other managers wrote glowing reports, and I was very honest. And I did write some good stuff, but everything I wrote was and it was true. I think that this person has a lot more potential than they're showing. I think that they could achieve more if they put their mind to it, and this is why they lose focus. They are distracted by others. I don't quite think they understand um the what's the word, the consequences of not of what will happen if they don't achieve, and I was very critical but very constructive about it, and people really liked it. And I said I would have thought you would have preferred the glowing reference because it makes you look really good, and they were like, no, because it gives us something to work on. It gives us People thrive on that, and I don't know why. But I also think that then people will trust you. They trust you because you are honest, and I think people want that. They want someone who they can trust because you're always honest. They might not like it in that moment, but they love the integrity that you have, and they are drawn to it. So again, great trait for a leader to have. So the next part of integrity would be they don't need you to like them. I think that's a big important one again. That kind of goes with the security, the self security. Is I really don't care. I had someone again. They had to assess me and my job role, and I remember they said to me, "Do you mind if I?" Well, not do you mind. It was kind of like, I need to come in and assess you, and I was like, yeah, cool, whenever. I'm not fussed. They were like, oh, do you want some time to prep? And I was like, no, I want you to see me as I am and give me your honest opinion. And they were like, okay, cool, we'll do it now. So they observed me, and then afterwards they were asking me questions, and they said to me, what would you like to improve on? And I was like, I don't know, really. And then they said, what do you feel you need to improve on? And I was like, I don't know. They were like, well, so you think that so you think you're the best then? And I was like, no, I know I'm very good, but at the same time, I focus on improving myself all the time anyway. So everything that I know I can improve, I've improved. What I don't know. So if there are other things I can improve, I'd like you to tell me. But everything that I know that I can improve, I've proved. I've done. I'm constantly pushing anyway. So there's not really a lot I can get. But if you do give me anything constructive, I'd love to hear it. And I remember she got a bit funny about it and was like, whoa, 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 I'm not judging you. I'm not judging you. She said, because I said something about like, I want to hear your judgment. And she got a bit like, whoa, I'm not here to judge you. And I said, well, I said, look, I don't really care what you want to call it. I just want to know, is there anything you think I can do better? I want your feedback. And she was a bit funny about the way I called it judgment. And I said, she's basically, she kind of tried to she got a bit defensive about it because I think she was worried that I was a bit worried about being judged. And I said to her, listen, in the nicest way, I said, I don't really know you. I said, look, I respect what you're here to do, and I respect that you know about how to improve people. I said, but I want you to understand what I'm about to say and take it professionally, not personally. I said, here's the thing. In the nicest way, I'm not going to lose any sleep over your opinion of me and how I can perform my role. It makes zero difference to me what you think. I care so much about what I do and my performance and being the best and pushing myself. I said, there's nothing you can say about me that I don't already. say about myself. I said, so do not worry about whatever you're going to say. In the nicest way, there's nothing that you can say that will bother me, affect me. I'm really not fussed. Please give me constructive feedback. And I don't think she was prepared for that. I don't think she really understood what to make of that. But again, that comes as part of that not insecurity, integrity, is that I don't need you to like me. I don't need you to think I'm great. I'm more than happy to sit on my own over there. I'm happy being that protective lone shepherd. I don't need any of you near me. I'm happy. I prefer it. I prefer being that shepherd sat on the hill and all my sheep are in the field together chatting. And I'm just sat on the hill on my own. I like that. I'm happy. I don't need to be in that group. I don't want to be in that group. I like my own space. I don't need anyone to like me. I don't care if people don't like me. Because I know that if someone doesn't like me, that's a reflection on them and not on me. Because everything I try and do, I do because I know it's right. I know that everything I do, I never want to purposely upset anyone. And if I do, I never will say anything rude to anyone unless they deserve it. I will never upset anyone unless they deserve it. And if I do, and I do it by accident, I am deeply, deeply regretful, and I will say to someone, I'm truly sorry. I did not mean to upset you. I really, really didn't. If it's justified, if someone says, I was offended, because I'll be like, I don't care. You need to get over it, because if anything, I'm offended that you were offended because I didn't do anything wrong. So I'm offended that you're even going to claim to be offended. How do you like those apples? So yeah, I don't really care what people think. I really don't. I do what I do because I know it's right, and I know it's that I'm going to be able to sleep at night. So that is my opinion of that. Anyway, next bit of integrity is wanting to hear both sides of a story. This one, this one's really important, and I like to think that I've worked on this a lot recently, because in the last few years, because someone will say, "Oh, so and so hasn't been, I don't know, hasn't been to work in the last few days. And when they have been to work, they've been a bit of a dick." And I'll say, "Do you know why?" "Well, no." I'm like, "Well, maybe you should find out. Maybe there's a reason they've been like that. Even if someone is always a dick, maybe there's a reason. Maybe there was something that happened to them as a child. Maybe they had an abusive past. Maybe they will always be a dick, and I don't want to associate with them. I don't want to spend time with them, but at the same time, I don't want to hold it against them, because no one can help their childhood. Their childhood was their childhood. So if someone's bad, they're bad. But at the same time, it wasn't their fault. So don't hold it against them. Don't hold that anger and that bitterness. Just get over it. If someone cheats on you, it's because they've been hurt in the past. They don't respect you. They probably don't respect themselves. They're not worth worrying about. They're really not. There are a lot of unhappy, not very nice people in the world. And instead of worrying about what they've done to hurt you and things like that, you should be thinking more about, there's probably a reason for it. There's probably a reason they are the way they are. Maybe they were just spoilt and entitled, and they haven't grown up. They've got no emotional intelligence. So then you should think to yourself, well, I hope one day they get that ability. They're clearly a child emotionally. So, they don't understand that they're hurting other people's feelings, or maybe they don't care because they're so just arrogant. But why are they arrogant? What has made them arrogant? So I think, wanting to hear both sides of a story, sometimes it is, it's not giving people an excuse, but it is a way of kind of saying that to yourself, that there might be a reason. There might be a reason, and I'm not saying, oh, you should let everyone out of prison because it's not their fault. No, 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 I'm not saying that. If someone's a dick, they're a dick. If someone's something bad, they've done something bad. But at the same time, nothing bad happens for no reason. There's always a reason. So indirectly, it's never anyone's fault. Directly is your fault, but indirectly, there's probably a reason. And I think sometimes having that tiny bit of compassion sometimes can help you let things go. You don't want to hold that anger. You just want to understand that there is another side to every story. There always is. I think that part of having all those things there, people will trust you. People will, and having that trust, they will want to follow you because they feel safe. And if they trust you, they will want to. They know where they stand. They know that you are honest. They know that you give them constructive feedback. They know that you care, and that they know they can rely on you. And I think what makes people feel the most lonely, especially when they're in big groups, you find a lot of people who will be in like a massive group but they feel lonely, and I think it's because they feel that no one's truly got their back. They might be in a group of 1,000 people, they might have 10 in their big friendship group and they're all really close, but they're not actually really close because they don't feel that anyone's truly got their back. And I think that's the difference. Knowing someone has truly got your back, someone is genuinely there, whether you talk to them or not, knowing that there is that one person that you can call or speak to or ask for their honest opinion, I think that means a lot to people, and I think that they are drawn to that. Some people don't realize it, some people don't see it, but I think having that trust for some people is, it really means a lot to them. Even subconsciously, they might not know it. And I think if you're consistent, if you're consistently honest, and obviously that's part of it. If you have integrity, it's not an act. It's not an act. Because if it is an act and you're pretending to have integrity and you're pretending to have morals, like I said with the whole religious thing, there are people who will do it because they think that's what they're supposed to do. But that's not what they naturally would do. Some people, obviously not all, and because of that, they're not fully consistent. They're 99% consistent. But if it is truly you, and that is truly the way you think, and you always do what you think, and you always say what you think, you're so consistent. And people know where they stand. And I think people like knowing where they stand. Whether they agree with your opinion or not, they like knowing where they stand. My wife says to me that I'm predictably unpredictable. And I think what she means is you always know that I'm gonna say what I think, but sometimes you just don't know what I'm thinking. And I think there's a lot of things in that sentence. But she says that she likes knowing that when I say something, it's genuinely how I feel. I don't want to go. I don't want to wear this. I don't want to get up that early. I don't want to come back that late. She knows she can say something. Oh, we need to go to this event, or I don't want to do it. I'll go, but I don't want to do it. Or I'll say, I don't want to eat this tonight, or I really do want to do this, or I really want to go and see this person, or I really enjoyed that film that you picked, or she'll show me her clothes and she'll say, "Do you like this?" And I'll go, "Not really, not for where we're going." I think, and I'll give her an honest opinion, and I'll say to her, if you want to wear it and you feel happy wearing it, yeah, but I think that maybe you should tone down the colour because of the event it is, or have you got any accessories for it, or I try and get my queer eye out and kind of. I mean, I'm rubbish. My fashion sense is horrendous generally, but I'll try and give my opinion. She probably doesn't want my opinion. She just wants me to say. I think a lot of women will say they want you to say everything's nice, but deep down they don't. They love the fact that you are honest, and I think again that is something that people like. They can trust it. They feel they know where they stand. Something else that came up. This one's super interesting. It says staying calm during conflict is part of integrity. Now, this one I'm really really intrigued by, because I agree to a degree. Being able to have a lid on your anger, a control on your anger, I think is very important. And being in control of this situation. So I think I've been in many a confrontation where I know I'm in control, and I know that if they lose control, I'm winning that argument. So me staying calm is essentially me winning. But there are other times where I know I have to show some fire to win. You have to judge the situation. I think it's a very psychological. You have to be so in tune with the situation to know whether you should be staying calm or whether you should be getting loud and aggressive. And I think the time to get loud and aggressive, you never long it out. It will be a short, sharp snap, and I think it's when you're frustrated. I will short, sharp snap when I'm frustrated, and people kind of go, "Oh, shit, okay, let's not do that again." Whoever it may be, because there's no argument. There is nothing to argue about. I'll be short, sharp snap over something that's really winding me up. Now, someone wants to argue with me. If I'm wrong, hold my hands up straight away. I'm wrong. If I'm right, then I'll stay calm, but I will never ever back down. I'll just be like, "You're wrong because ABC. This happened, that happened, that happened. Please do not come at me with things that are not true. If you want to talk to me, that's cool." And then they will get wound up, especially if someone's lied. I've been in situations where someone's lied to get themselves out of trouble. To, for example, a mutual boss, and then that mutual boss will try and have a go at me in front of this person that's lied, and I will immediately just ignore the boss and I will talk to the person that's lied, and I'll be like, "Did you really think that I wasn't going to say anything? You've just lied to that person to try and get me in trouble, thinking I'm just going to stand there and say nothing. What crazy part of your mind thought that you were going to get away with that? That was going to work? You might have panicked in the moment, but why would you lie?" And they might be still screaming at me, but they're not in the picture anymore. I'm focused on that person now, the one that lied. I don't like that. It winds me up. But staying calm, I think is very, very important. But knowing when to turn it on is also very important. So moving on, the last one of these little traits was society sees compassion as weakness. So being kind is weak, and looking after your own only. This one, I think, very first world kind of problem. And I think it's that a lot of people who say, "I'm a strong independent woman," or "I'm a strong businessman who can blah 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 blah," I think they see compassion as weakness, and I think they're wrong. Society sees kindness as weakness. They see you as being meek and mild and kind. They see kind as not strong. They don't see those two words together. And I think that is a poison within society. I think people need to understand that being kind and being compassionate and caring about other people, if anything, is stronger. You're just being a dick if you're not doing those things. You think you're strong. You're not. You're a dick. Not looking after. Being strong and being powerful is being someone who is. I'm talking about just males just at the moment. It would be, for me, someone who is kind of like like a um a, a father figure to people, kind of like that that role of protective shepherd, like I said, looking out for people. As a woman, it can be the same, but more like the maternal side. You can be that maternal matriarch. You can still be that powerful figure. The two figures I love are Mufasa and Sarabi in The Lion King. She is a powerful woman. She's a powerful woman. But she has a very different role to Mufasa. They got very different roles, but she's the boss. She's clearly a very strong female lion in her aura, in everything. And I think being kind to people, just like what Mufasa says, is why it's my favourite film. But when Simba says, "But don't we eat the antelope?" Mufasa says, "Yes, but that's just part of life." I think this is the point. You can kill something to eat it, but that doesn't mean you're bad. That is just the circle of life. But again, at the same time, and I'm not getting into the politics of, I'm not literally talking about being a vegetarian or vegan and all that sort of stuff. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about looking after other people. Some people see it as weak, and it's not. Being kind is not a weakness. Being kind isn't. It's not something that makes you immediately look strong. But at the same time, to stop everyone and say, we are going to help this person. If you are in charge, everyone in that group knows that you would also do that for them. It makes you a stronger, more powerful father figure. And that is what a leader is. So showing that compassion and showing that kindness. But at the same time, I have a responsibility to my family, my unit, my group, whatever they are. And if I have to, I heard something not long ago about being the captain of a ship in the Navy in World War II or whatever it was, and they were saying when like a torpedo would hit a certain part of the ship, you had to shut the door on your friends who you knew were going to drown. You're drowning them. They're screaming as they're running towards you. You got to shut the door. If you don't shut the door in that moment, the rest of the ship's going to sink. You're not going to be able to shut that door again. You have to shut the door immediately. Can you do that? Can you look your friends in the eyes as they're running towards you, shut the door, lock it? Either you can or you can't. I could do that because I'm not thinking about those people. They know why they're there. They know what they signed up for, and it is my responsibility to look after everyone else on that ship, not just you. So that's the difference. It's not about not. It's not about dropping everything you have at all times to look after everyone, but it is about in the right time, at the right moment, can you do something nice? If there's no one looking, it's not about doing it for image or anything like that. But are you going to do the right thing when no one is looking? And I believe that being able to act in that moment, to show compassion, to look after someone who is not in your group necessarily. So a lot of people say I'm looking after my family. It's not just your family. It's not. It could be anyone. So what, like the other thing that kind of going off back to what Jimmy Carr was saying was like when no one's watching is it's not, are you going to do something if no one's watching, are you going to do something good anyway? So those, I don't know if you've seen those pictures where you've got someone who's holding up a camera and they're like, yeah, we're going to buy some food for these homeless people, and they said that is a sign of today, that people, would you do that without that camera there saying, look, yeah, I'm taking a selfie with all these homeless people and I'm buying them food? Would you do that without that? Do you need that? Now here's the thing, if you take that picture and you're going to grow your, let's call it your followership, and you're going to use that for good, and you're going to use that extra money that you get to do good, yes, I get it. You're going to sell, you're going to, in the long run, you're going to use what you're doing today to give yourself more capability to help more people. I agree with that, but I don't think that's what most people are doing. I think they're trying to get themselves attention and make them look like good people when they're really not. I think that's what most people are. There's also the other thing that would say, like where a lot of people say, um, would you do something bad if no one would ever find out? If you were wearing a mask and you knew no one would ever know it was you, would you shoot someone? Would you, what would you do? Would you steal money? What? And a lot of people say, well, yeah, I'd go and spy on this person, or I'd go and steal this, or I'd go and hurt this person if no one ever knew. And it's like, why? If you really want to go and hurt that person, go and hurt them and let them know it's you because they've wronged you. If not, don't do it, mask or not. Would you go and steal that money? Well, don't do it if you think you're gonna. If you really want to go and steal that money and you think that you're okay with it, go and steal that money. But if someone said to me, "Here's a mask," what would you do if you? Nothing would change. Would I go and steal the money? No, because I don't need to. I don't want to, and it's wrong. It's not my money. So it's having that. It's having that thing of what would you do differently. Someone said to me a while ago, "Oh, I'd love to win a load of money because I do this and I do," and I was like, "So whoa. I was like, "So your whole life would you change everything you're trying to do?" And they were like, "Yeah." They were like, "Wouldn't you?" I was like, "No. All it would do is speed up everything I'm trying to do. I want to set up a foundation in Brazil to help orphans get an education, help them get dentistry, get an education, learn to read and write, get jobs, help themselves. That's my long-term goal. That's what I want to do. I want to set up an academy that brings football players from Brazil to Europe, to the lower clubs, to give them an opportunity to play, and without it going for millions and millions and millions of pounds. But I want the money to stay in that kind of organization to constantly feed back into giving these kids an opportunity. And every player that doesn't make it, they get help with an education, they get help with trying to find work, and I want them to have a better life through football, through whatever. And I want that. I want to set up jiu-jitsu schools in Brazil where kids train for free, women get self-defense classes for free. I want it to be a place of good. I want to start a construction company in Brazil, and I want to build houses for people to give them the opportunity, like starter homes, to give people the opportunity to move out and just own their own home. But at the same time, I want to set up these colleges where kids can go and train for free, but then I can give them work. So that it's going to benefit me, it's going to benefit them. So they can work for me and for my development company, but at the same time, they can train for free, get a job, have a career. That's what I want to do. So if I won millions of pounds, would it change what I'm going to do? No, it would just speed it up. That's the only difference. And I think I am who I am. I know who I am, and I know what I want to do. And I think a lot of people aren't true to that. Know who you are, know what you're going to do, set your mind to it, do it. I think the other thing I wanted to say I've written down that the fact people are different in their head baffles me. I will never understand the fact that, going back to right to the beginning to what Jimmy Carr said, I will never understand the fact that people say people are not who they are when they think someone's watching. I can't comprehend that. I don't understand how you can not be you. How you can be someone. I don't get it. I don't get how someone can be to not be themselves. I don't understand how you can be happy. I don't understand how you can sleep at night. And I feel that a lot of people say they're unhappy, and maybe that's why. Because you are not being you. And maybe it comes down to confidence. Maybe it comes down to insecurity. Again, as I've said so many times, maybe that's the issue. Be you. Don't do these things to try and impress other people, or do what you think society thinks you should do, or change your gender for attention. If that's you, be you, but don't do these things because you think is what you should be doing, or you think that's what people say, or just don't do it. It's annoying. It's really annoying. Just be you. And I get frustrated with people who don't do things for themselves. They do it because they think other people are watching, or other people. It just winds me up. It winds me up. Anyway, so I wrote as well. So living with integrity means you uphold your values no matter the situation or who is watching. So you uphold your values. I think that's really important. Just like I said, if you're consistent, if you behave as you think, you say as you think, and you're always consistent, you're never not you. Sometimes you can. I think here's the difference. Sometimes I don't have to say what I'm thinking, but I never say something I'm not thinking. I never say something I think other people want to hear. I never say something that I wouldn't think. Sometimes I don't say what I'm thinking, but every time I do say something, it's genuinely me. And I think that's the difference. A lot of people will say something because they think they should. That's the difference. That's what people need to stop. So I just wanted to read you one last thing. It's a quote from Oprah Winfrey. It says, real integrity is doing the right thing, knowing that nobody's going to know whether you did it or not. I want to leave you with that quote, because after all that rambling, I think that sums it all up. So yeah, I think integrity plays a big part. I think all leaders need integrity. And I think if more people had integrity, the world would be a much better place. So, just my thoughts on that. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed listening to my, like I said, let's call it a ramble session. But yeah, integrity, I think, is a powerful, powerful thing. Powerful thing. So, speak to you again soon. Hope you enjoyed it, like I said, and I hope you enjoy the next one.